The tulips are blooming, the crocus flowers are peeking out, and Easter is only days away. So we've asked the queen of pastels and pretty table settings, Sarah Gunn, to help us set a gorgeous Easter tablescape for this coming weekend. And I feel like this time of year was actually made for you. Like, this is when you thrive. So tell me about your inspiration for this year's table.
Well, Tracy, you know I love a pastel and I love a pretty table, so you're right. Easter is my favorite time of year to decorate a table. And I think we're all so ready for spring. So this time around, I was inspired by an outdoor country market. My son Jacob loves going to these. You know, think about fresh air, nature, beautiful bouquets of flowers, fresh produce and eggs and that sort of thing. So that's where I got my inspiration.
I love it, bringing the outdoors in. Okay, so where did we start with this tablescape?
Okay, so I started right in the middle, and instead of a tablecloth or a runner, I actually added a runner of faux grass. I really do feel like it brings the outdoor in, adds that rustic element, but you're gonna have a hard time finding one that's the right length like I did. So here's my trick. I used two.
Oh, nice.
And I just layered them in the middle of the table, and once you just give it a little fluff around the middle, you can't even see that there's a seam.
That is so smart. Okay, so that's beautiful and that's a standout, but then the centerpieces. Talk to me about how you built that.
Okay, so I wanted to do something a little bit different, again with the whole market theme. So I found this great farmhouse-inspired two-tiered basket. I love that it has some height to it, right? But it's still low enough that you can see across the table to chit-chat. And I just filled it with these faux painted eggs. Now, of course, you could use real eggs in here if you wanted to and paint them. I like having faux because you can use them from year to year. And the great thing about the centerpiece, it literally has a handle. You can pick this up and move it around your house, maybe in your entryway, maybe on your kitchen counter, and it's decor for the whole season. And then I just added these oversized candles running down the length of the table with candlesticks that kind of tie the whole color scheme together.
Gorgeous. All the pastels you're using this year, which I think is really nice. So if you look at the beautiful candles and then you move on to the place settings, you can also see a tie-in with the colors there. So let's talk about those place settings.
Okay, so I found these first, actually. These Plaid Chargers I thought were just so perfect. They really have all the colors of Easter in there. So I started with those at each place setting. And then I'm just using dinner plates I already had. In fact, these were in my last year's segment when I did an Easter tablescape. And I love mixing old with what you already have with something new. It's budget friendly, it's environmentally friendly, and you can totally change the look of something by just adding a few new elements. So on that note, my salad plates I think have made a few Cityline appearances as well. So I layered those on top, and it just finishes the look with a pretty floral glass, some gold silverware, and you're done.
Oh, I need to get that gold flatware. I absolutely love that. Okay, so gorgeous. You have beautiful place settings. You have this beautifully practical but gorgeous centerpiece. You also have some other goodies for your guests. What else have you got out for them?
Well, I love to personalize each place setting and make it feel really special. So this time around, I went with these little mini vases of faux flowers. They look like you were on a walk along a country road and you just picked them and brought them home. And then, because I don't like a place card, Tracy, but I do like a name at each place setting, I thought it would be fun to create these little ornaments in Easter shapes and then just stamp them with each person's name, and you set it on the place setting, and then that's something that they can even take home after the dinner's over, which is really sweet.
That is adorable. So you're going to show us how to do that. Why don't you walk over to your kitchen and we'll do this quick DIY, and I'll tell everyone what they're going to need to follow along. So you at home, you need some skewers, you need tape, you need air dry clay, cookie cutters, a lollipop stick, nail file, roller, letter stamp, string. You get that all together? And now Sarah, walk us through it. How do we start?
Okay, this is really, really simple to do, Trace, and a lot of fun. So the first step is to actually tape down 2 skewers onto a smooth surface like your counter or a tray. Anything that's smooth will work. You want to make sure that it's wider than your cookie cutters, but narrower than your roller, because you're actually going to be rolling on these with your clay, and that's going to create a really perfect depth. And you just start rolling it in between the skewers until you get it at that uniform depth. And then take your cookie cutter, press it down firmly on there, and you can peel away the excess clay while the cookie cutter is still in place if you want to. Okay? And then the next step, you want to make a hole for the string so that you can actually tie it around the vase. So I use the end of a lollipop stick. And then there's this great little device here that stamps letters into different things. So you just put on the letters that spell the name that you want to do. You place it on the center of your, I'm going to do it sideways here, and you just gently press it and peel it up.
I get my
off
own
your surface.
place
You're going to
setting.
want to let these.
You know what's funny, Sarah? I looked
Yeah,
at it
you
and
let
I
it
was
dry
like,
for-
who's Tarsi? It's Tracy.
Oh, you had me scared that I spelled your name
No.
wrong for a second. You let it dry for 24 hours on one side, flip it to the other, and let it dry for another 24. And then if you have any rough edges, I don't know if you can see the edges on this one, they're a little rough. You could just take an emery board or a nail file or some sandpaper if you have that, and you just smooth all the edges and you tie it with a string or some ribbon around your vase, and it's good to go.
Ooh, does that one say Eva? That's really sweet. They are all lovely, and I think it's so nice to add that personal touch. You know, it's one of those events where it is really about family and getting together and loving each other. So a personal touch is gorgeous. Thank you, Sarah.